You gave it, huh? That's for him when he gets older, okay, that book? The book is for your son when he gets older, okay? You can read it to him. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Giribharadhari Gopi Janabalaba Girivardhari Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Girivardhari Gopi Janabalaba Girivardhari Gopi Janabalaba Girivardhari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Shri Shri Giri Govardhana ki, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki, Shri Govardhana Puja ki jai. Go Premanandi, Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Haribo. So, I don't know if that would be something like the offerings we'll have today for Govardhana Puja.
Donc Maharaj dit, il ne sait pas si ça sera à peu près comme ça, les offrandes aujourd'hui pour le Govardhana Puja.
There's more than 1,000 offerings there.
Il y en a plus de 1000.
This was during the Anukut ceremony on Govardhana Puja many years ago.
C'était dans la cérémonie d'Anakuta.
At the spot of Anukut, but rather Nath Maharaj's parikrama, this was the offering.
Pendant le parikrama conduit par Shri Radhanath Maharaj.
So we may not be able to have quite that many offerings, but we hope there are lots of offerings today for the pleasure of Govardhana.
Même si on n'en a pas assez, on espère qu'il y aura beaucoup d'offrandes aujourd'hui pour le plaisir de Giriraj.
And of course it would be, we can remember Govardhana sometimes even more when we're in separation, but how nice it is to be at Govardhana on this occasion.
Donc on peut se souvenir bien sûr en séparation de Govardhana, mais on peut imaginer à quel point c'est merveilleux d'y être aujourd'hui pour cette occasion.
So in the short time which we have, we'll try to speak a few words about the glories of Govardhana Hill Giriraj Maharaj.
Et dans le peu de temps qu'on a, on va essayer de dire quelques gloires de la colline Govardhana.
The glories of the Anukut ceremony.
Les gloires de la cérémonie Anakuta.
And all the other glories related to this glorious pastime.
et toutes les gloires reliées à ce divertissement glorieux.
We were just discussing just now how, well, first of all, the pujaris are probably not here, at least not all of them, some of them, but how beautiful the altar is today is incredible. The deity outfits, the Indra's clouds, everything is there. The rain coming down in the form of, I guess, the lights, like thunder, lightning coming down from the sky, etc.
Donc les pujas, ils sont peut-être pas là dans la pièce, mais
the backdrops.
Des merveilleux, vraiment merveilleux vêtements, merveilleux backdrop, la colline là-haut avec les...
Right down to the pumpkins, everything fantastic.
Avec même les citrouilles.
They're hailstones, by the way, if you don't know. They're orange hailstones. They're brahmacharis. Brahmachari hailstones.
C'est la grêle brahmachari.
Crashing down on Vrindavan, or what they think is crashing down on Vrindavan.
Qui s'écrase, on pense, sur Vrindavan.
One of the unique things about one of them, unlimited, unique aspects, but one of them is that personalities like Indra cannot touch Vrindavan.
Un des aspects uniques de ce divertissement, c'est que Indra ne peut pas toucher Vrindavan.
But for the sake of pastimes, for fun, Krishna makes it look like he can.
Mais pour le divertissement, pour s'amuser, Krishna donne l'impression qu'il peut le faire.
Same with Lord Brahma trying to steal the cowherd boys. He cannot steal the cowherd boys or calves.
La même chose avec Brahma, il ne peut pas vraiment voler les pâtres et les...
It just appears like that.
Ça semble qu'il le fait.
So we'll begin with some pranams and we can chant all together. All together? Are you ready?
Ensemble, ces hommages.
Namo Vrindavanakaya Tubhyam Goloka Boline Purna Brahma Tapattaya Namo Govardhanaya Cha. Obeisances to you who are Goloka's crown and the lap where Vrindavan forest grows. Obeisances to Govardhana Hill, the supreme personality of Godhead's parasol.
Hommage à toi qui est la couronne de Goloka et qui représente les genoux sur lesquels poussent les forêts de Vrindavan. Hommage à la colline Govardhana, le parasol de Dieu la personne suprême.
Is that the French word for umbrella? Parasol?
Parasol means, yeah, umbrella.
Is it a French word?
Yeah.
It is, okay, so it comes directly from French. It's a rare word used in English.
Actually, we have two words in French. Parapluie, it's against the rain, and parasol, it's against the sun.
Okay. Got to be against something, and here's another name for against something. It's a Latin word, is it? Oh, you're a Latin scholar. Okay. Well, parasol is very rarely used in English, usually umbrella. All together. Namaste Girirajaya Shri Govardhana Namine Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Dayane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the King of all hills, Govardhana Hill, the source of enjoyment for the senses, land and cows. He is a servant of Krishna and is Krishna himself. Very interesting topic that, huh? We'll mention later. He puts an end to unlimited sufferings and bestows the supreme bliss.
J'offre mon hommage respectueux au roi de toutes les montagnes, la colline Govardhana, la source de plaisir pour les sens, pour la terre et les vaches. Il est le serviteur de Krishna, il est Krishna lui-même, et il met fin à des nombres illimités de souffrances et nous donne la bénédiction de la félicité suprême.
And now, Sri Govardhana Pranam mantras. These two are generally known. The first two also, but these two particularly. Govardhana Jayati Shaila Kadadi Rajo Yogo Pikabir Haridasa Vayaha Krishnena Shakra Makabanga Kritachitoya Saptahamasya Kadapatma Talepyavatit. All glories to Govardhana, the emperor of lordly mountains. The Lord's dear gopis called him the best servant of Hari. Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna disrupted the sacrifice for worship of Indra to worship Govardhana instead. And then the hill resided for a week on the Lord's lotus palm.
Toute gloire à Govardhana, l'empereur de toutes les montagnes. Il est le seigneur les chers gopis du Seigneur l'appellent le plus grand des serviteurs de Hari, Shri Krishna. Le Seigneur Krishna a dérangé le sacrifice pour adorer Indra afin d'adorer la colline Govardhana à la place. Et puis, elle a résidé pendant une semaine sur la paume pareille lotus du Seigneur.
And this is another, you could say, one of those questions of where there appears to be some different statements. Here it says, on his lotus palm, which means the left palm of the left hand, like that.
Ici, c'est un sujet encore un peu de controverse. Ici, il est dit que c'est la colline a reposé sur la paume de sa main.
And other places you see with the little finger, the left hand.
Autre part, on dit sur le petit doigt de la main gauche.
And in Harivamsa Purana, in the Mahabharata, in the Srimad Bhagavatam actually also, it says that the palm.
Dans le Harivamsa, dans le Srimad Bhagavatam,
There was Bhagavatamrita.
également que c'est sur la paume.
And other places you see, it's stated little finger.
Et dans d'autres endroits, il est dit sur le petit doigt de la main gauche.
Krishna can do anything he likes.
Krishna peut faire ce qu'il veut.
Some say he picked it up with his hand and lifted it with his, held it on his finger. They say different things.
Il a soulevé avec sa main et qu'il a pris ensuite sur son petit doigt.
But either way, it's quite a remarkable pastime.
C'est un divertissement remarquable.
It has many deep connotations,
Il y a beaucoup d'aspects très profonds,
and especially for us.
spécialement pour nous.
We were discussing a little this morning how, you know, of course it's all related, our karma, the hand of the demigods.
Tout est connecté, notre karma, la main des devas.
This pastime also relates karma with the demigods too.
Dans ce divertissement aussi, on parle du karma en relation avec les devas.
How by various arrangements of the demigods we get happiness and experience happiness and distress and so on.
Comment par différents arrangements des demi-dieux, on obtient du bonheur, du malheur.
Demigods are also sometimes tempting or testing the devotees, huh?
Parfois, les devas, ils tentent les dévots aussi.
Trying to, say destroy, but to seemingly put obstructions in our path.
Parfois, on dirait même qu'ils mettent des obstacles sur leur chemin.
So similarly here, in this pastime of Govardhana puja, certainly the demigods were, at least Indra, not the demigods, in this case Indra, was very much, you could say, trying to harass the devotional service of the devotees.
Et dans ce divertissement, spécialement Indra, vraiment essayer d'arraser les dévots dans l'accomplissement de leur service de dévotion.
So in the same way, if we take shelter, as the residents of Vrindavan took shelter under Govardhana Hill,
Et donc, si on prend refuge comme les habitants de Vrindavan sur la colline Govardhana,
we also have to take shelter of Govardhana Hill
on doit, comme eux, prendre refuge de la colline
to
Govardhana.
protect us of the deluge of material, attractions.
Qui va nous protéger du déluge des attirances matérielles.
The material objects, the distractions, the disturbances, and so on.
Des objets matériels, des distractions matérielles.
We cannot possibly, we cannot possibly fight against the material energy on our own.
Il n'est pas possible pour nous de vaincre l'énergie matérielle par nous-mêmes.
The only hope is to take shelter of Krishna, or in this case, Govardhana.
On peut juste se concentrer sur prendre refuge en Krishna ou dans ce cas de Govardhana.
So is he Krishna or is he a devotee of Krishna?
Est-ce qu'il est Krishna ou est-ce qu'il est un dévot de Krishna?
Which is he?
Lequel des deux?
Both. Okay, good answer.
Les deux.
He is Krishna,
Il est Krishna.
but why can't Krishna serve himself? We like to serve ourselves.
Pourquoi Krishna ne pourrait pas se servir lui-même? Nous, on aime bien se servir nous-mêmes aussi.
Yeah, they often say The best, like cooking, for instance. Cooking. Who's the best cook?
Qui est le meilleur cuisinier? Mathieu Adami.
Huh? I don't mean in terms of absoluteness, I mean in terms of our own experience.
Le meilleur cuisinier.
Someone who likes to eat.
Huh?
Someone who likes to eat.
Oh.
I didn't catch it, huh?
Someone who likes to eat sweets.
Who likes to eat.
Who likes to what?
Eat.
They are the best cook.
Well, yeah, we're talking we're talking here in a kind of a general terminology. I'm talking to a specific one. I'm talking about, as far as I'm concerned.
En ce qui me concerne, moi, je dis c'est.
They say this. This is it's actually, I don't know where it comes from, Bengal or somewhere. I don't know where. The best cook is not the wife.
La meilleure cuisinier, c'est pas l'épouse.
Usually we hear it's the mother. But if you know how to cook, the best cook is yourself.
Mais en général, le meilleur cuisinier.
You know what you want.
On sait ce qu'on veut.
If you know how to cook, you've got to learn how to cook, of
Bien
course.
sûr, vous devez apprendre à cuisiner.
In this way, Krishna, of course, Radharani is the best servant. We all know that in one sense. But in another sense, Krishna is showing here, he's the best of the servants also, the best of the Vaishnavas.
Bien sûr, on
How
sait,
to serve. Giving protection to all the devotees.
on sait que Shrimati Radharani est la meilleure cuisinière, mais Krishna, dans un sens, c'est lui le meilleur serviteur de lui-même et il donne protection à tous les dévots.
We may think we've got a few challenges,
On peut penser qu'on a certains défis.
but look what happened here.
Regardez ce qui s'est passé là.
Imagine being in that situation.
Imaginez être dans cette situation.
The rain was coming down like columns. It wasn't just like drizzle, we call in English drizzle. It was columns.
C'était pas juste un embrun, c'était des piliers, les trompes d'eau.
Even heavier than the shower that you used to have in the basement here, even heavier than that.
Encore plus fort que
And constant.
qu'il y avait dans le sous-sol avant.
And I see we're having an Arctic feast today.
Arctic Feast.
Arctic, I mean, it's a frozen feast, doesn't it?
On va avoir un festin glacé aujourd'hui.
It was written on the notice board, Arctic feast.
Oh, c'est marqué sur le
Frozen samosas, frozen rice.
festin d'Arctique.
We hope not. But yes, it was literally almost frozen. There was hailstones. They weren't little ones. They were like footballs.
Mais c'était véritablement un déluge avec des grêlons gros comme des ballons de football.
The wind, if you think the hurricanes of this world is something, you can imagine the power. They were the most powerful winds in the universe.
Si vous pensez que les cyclones de ce monde sont puissants, là c'était les cyclones et les vents les plus puissants de l'univers.
They were put into a pretty difficult position.
C'était vraiment, ils étaient
So
dans
it
une
seems.
situation vraiment difficile.
But because they took shelter of Krishna, even that they were protected from.
Et parce qu'ils ont pris refuge de Krishna, ils étaient protégés même de cette.
And they took shelter under, eventually, of course, Govardhana Hill.
Bien sûr, ils ont pris refuge.
So Krishna, that way, likes to protect his devotees. And who can do that? The whole of Vrindavan was protected by Krishna.
Krishna aime protéger ses dévots et qui d'autre que lui peut protéger tout Vrindavan.
And the next one. Saptaham eva chutta hasta pankaje bringayamanam palamula kandarai sang sevyamanam atma vitkakir Govardhana dring shirsa namami. I offer my prostrated obeisances to the Govardhana hill, who was kept for 7 days in the lotus hand, probably on the lotus hand, of the infallible Lord Sri Krishna, and who served him with his own paraphernalia, including swarms of black bees and an abundance of delicious fruits and roots.
J'offre mon hommage prostré à la colline Govardhana qui fut gardée 7 jours sur la main, pareil lotus du Seigneur infaillible Sri Krishna, et qui l'a servi avec toute sa paraphernalia, incluant des volées d'abeilles, des essaims d'abeilles, une abondance de fruits délicieux et de racines.
You can imagine a mountain. Many of you have been to Vrindavan, you've probably almost certainly been to Govardhana Hill.
Vous pouvez imaginer une montagne, bien sûr la plupart d'entre vous sont allés à Vrindavan, sûrement à Govardhana.
The mountain was a bit bigger in those days.
Elle était beaucoup plus grosse.
I mean, even now, if you look at it, to lift up that hill nowadays would be not very easy.
Même la soute comme elle est aujourd'hui serait
With all the cranes and strong men in the world, you would still have a difficult challenge.
même avec les hommes les plus forts de l'univers, ils auraient du mal.
Govardhana Hill was a bit bigger, you know. I mean, how big? I don't know. But
105 kilometers long, I think 70 kilometers wide, and 29 kilometers high.
okay, there we got latest measurements. Quite big. 29 kilometers. How many meters is that? 2,900 or something. What is it?
29,000.
29,000 meters high. Now that's more than 3 times higher than Everest.
29 000 mètres de haut, c'est plus de 3 fois le mont Everest.
Now that's his normal size.
Le mont Everest, c'est la taille normale.
When he manifests, you could say, on the boma, on the earthly plane.
Non, ça c'est la taille normale quand
Krishna's
il se
pastime.
manifeste sur la...
But when Indra came, Govardhana expanded,
Mais quand Indra est descendu,
much bigger than that.
Govardhana est devenu beaucoup plus grand que ça.
So high, he rose them. You know, the storms, the Samvantaka clouds sent by Indra. They're the clouds of destruction
Les nuages Samvartaka...
to destroy the universe,
de la
basically,
destruction.
at the time of destruction. They're so big, they're so high, and almost unimaginable. They're so powerful clouds. The Govardhana rose above those clouds.
Ils sont tellement
No matter
gigantesques,
how big they were, Govardhana went above them.
tellement puissants, tellement gigantesques qu'on ne peut pas imaginer. Et Govardhana,
You
elle
can't
a
imagine.
grandi encore au-dessus de ces nuages.
And how big was Govardhana to accommodate the billions and billions of calves and cows that were residing in Vrindavan.
Et imaginez, elle pouvait protéger tous les milliards et les milliards
Can you
de
imagine?
vaches de Vrindavan.
How many cows do you have in the Goshala?
Combien de vaches on a ici au Goshala?
5, okay.
5.
Imagine having billions and billions of cows and calves, giving trillions of gallons or liters of water, of milk every day.
Imaginez avoir des milliards de vaches qui donnent des trillions de...
You would need a few more cowgirls and cowboys to keep up with it.
Plus de pâtes et de vachères.
It's said that even the cow, I mean, we hear that Nanda Maharaj had 900,000 cows in his herd, huh? Or her,
Dans
Mother
on
Yasoda.
entend qu'il avait 900 000 vaches.
And it is described in Gopal Champa, I believe, that the calves and the cow boys, they had like hundreds of thousands of calves each under their protection.
Et les pâtres, ils avaient des
It's inconceivable.
centaines de milliers de vaches chacun. C'est
The whole
incroyable.
pastime is like absolutely inconceivable. Even when they went under the hill of Govardhana, you imagine going under a mountain. No, you know, usually you may go into a cave in a mountain, right? What does it look like?
Vous pouvez imaginer aller dans une caverne, dans une montagne, à quoi ça ressemble?
Even you go in the cave over the hill there in Shantipur, what does it look like?
Si vous allez dans la cave, à
It's not really a cave, it's
ça
more of a
ressemble à quoi?
tunnel. But still it's dark and damp and ew.
C'est humide, sombre.
Imagine being stuck there with an incredible mountain on top of you for 7 days.
Imaginez, vous êtes dans une caverne comme ça avec une
And
montagne
outside,
énorme au-dessus de vous pendant 7 jours.
A storm, inconceivable, powerful storm going on outside.
Et une terrible tempête.
How would you feel?
Comment vous vous sentirez?
Probably wouldn't. Did they have electric lights down there or something, or they all had the mobile phones or something? How did? It must have been pretty dark.
S'il y avait des ampoules électriques, s'il y avait leur
You know, usually
il devait faire son
things dripping, you know,
avec de l'eau qui coule, l'humidité qui
cold.
froid.
Oof. Was that how it was?
Est-ce que c'était comme ça?
Krishna was there, yeah, that was the key, you could say. Krishna was there because he's self-effulgent. But so everything was arranged there. It was more opulent than you can imagine.
Krishna était là, bien sûr, mais il y avait une opulence que vous ne pouvez même pas imaginer.
In some places it's described actually it was like under the hill there was like this special cavern, like a hole going down, and inside there was a whole spiritual realm, and they're all just enjoying themselves down there like anything. It's like undescribable, unimaginable by our experience. Everything's jewelry is gold, sparkling. Everything's so beautiful.
En fait,
Trees, everything's there. Birds, everything's there.
sous cette colline, il y avait comme un royaume spirituel avec des bijoux.
And Indra's going crazy out there. Boom, boom, boom. And they're all down there, and the great feast. In fact, this is another secret, and you can find this in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto also. A secret of Krishna consciousness.
Un des secrets que vous pouvez trouver aussi décrit dans le deuxième chant de Srimad Bhagavatam.
Where Prabhupada describes it, because Parikshit Maharaj, when he was hearing these pastimes, Bhagavatam, he was, as you know, he was fasting for 7 days and nights.
Quand Maharaj Parikshit jeûnait pour écouter le Bhagavatam pendant 7 jours et 7 nuits.
It wasn't like, our usual fast, a Ramadan or something, where you fast all day, then you feast all night.
Comme le Ramadan, par contre, on jeûne toute la journée, on fait un festin toute la nuit.
We're just waiting for the breakfast.
On attend de rompre le jeûne.
Today, I don't know, it's not a fast day today, is it?
Non. C'est pas un jour de jeûne aujourd'hui.
Okay. So, Prabhupada describes how Parikshit Maharaj he wasn't thinking about it. Eating and sleeping, he wasn't thinking about it.
Maharaj Parikshit,
No sleeping
il ne
also.
pensait même pas à dormir ni manger,
Just hearing and chanting.
juste écouter et chanter.
He was so absorbed in hearing and chanting, he just didn't think about eating, sleeping, and so on.
Il était tellement absorbé.
Even drinking.
Même
Not even a drop of water.
Même pas une goutte d'eau.
The same thing in the Govardhana Lila.
C'est la même chose dans le lila de.
They were so absorbed in this case, they had all their desires, in one sense, unending desires, but they had their desires fulfilled by being with Krishna 24 hours a day.
En fait, tous leurs désirs furent comblés car ils pouvaient rester avec Krishna 24 heures par jour.
Everyone seeing, no matter who they were, and there were countless devotees in various forms, seeing Krishna right in front of them.
Peu importe qui ils étaient, il y en avait un nombre illimité de dévots dans
Without
tout le
break.
temps. Ils pouvaient tous voir Krishna
Without
en
break.
face d'eux. Face à face.
So, Krishna reciprocating with his devotees.
Krishna
Many
se parle
pastimes are there,
dans de
but
nombreux
we'll
dévots
move on.
avec ses dévots.
They were, here we see how Govardhana Hill, who is Krishna himself, but in the mood of a devotee, is arranging all kinds of beautiful provision of fruits and roots. Bees are buzzing around.
Ici,
They don't bite, by the way.
il est décrit comment
Sting.
la colline Govardhana, qui est Krishna, en fait, a fait tellement d'arrangements de fruits, de fleurs, des abeilles qui piquent pas.
And a beautiful verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hantayam Adirabala Haridasavayo Yad Ramakrishna Charanas Parasha Pramodaha Manang Tanoti Sago Ganayastayoyat Paniya Suyavasa Kundara Kandamulai. Of all the devotees, this Govardhana Hill is the best. Oh friends, for Krishna and Balaram, along with their calves, cows and cowherd friends, this hill supplies all necessities. Caves, fruits, flowers, vegetables, water for drinking and very soft grass. In this way the hill offers respects to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhana Hill appears very jubilant.
De tous les dévots, cette colline Govardhana est le meilleur. Ô mes amis, pour Krishna et Balaram, ainsi que pour leurs veaux, leurs vaches, et pour leurs amis les pâtres, cette colline fournit toute nécessité, des cavernes, des fruits, des fleurs, des légumes, de l'eau à boire, de l'herbe tendre. Ainsi, cette colline offre ses hommages au Seigneur. Étant touché par les pieds pareils au lotus de Krishna et Balaram, Govardhana apparaît plein de jubilation.
We'll jump over because of time. Commentary. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the opulence of Govardhana Hill as follows. Paniya refers to the fragrant, cool water from the Govardhana waterfalls, which Krishna and Balaram drink and use to wash their feet and mouths.
Shila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explique l'opulence de la colline Govardhana comme suit. Paniya se réfère à l'eau douce et parfumée des chutes d'eau de Govardhana que Krishna et Balaram avaient l'habitude d'utiliser pour boire et pour laver leurs pieds et leurs mains.
Govardhana also offers other beverages such as honey, mango juice and pilu juice.
Govardhana offre également différentes boissons comme du miel, du jus de mangue, du jus de pilu.
Suya vasa indicates durva grass used to make the religious offerings of Arghya.
Suyavas indique l'herbe d'urva qui était utilisée pour les offrandes religieuses d'Arghya.
Govardhana also has grass that is fragrant, soft, and conducive to the strong growth of cows and increased production of milk.
Govardhana aussi donne de l'herbe parfumée et tendre qui est favorable pour augmenter pour les vaches et pour accroître la production de lait.
Thus, this grass is used for feeding the transcendental herds.
Ainsi, c'est cette herbe qui est utilisée pour nourrir les troupeaux transcendantaux.
Just like we heard 2 days back on Diwali, huh? Or maybe you didn't, but we did. How Mother Yasoda selected the best of all of the herd, of the cows in the herd, 100 of the best of those 900,000.
On a entendu le jour de Diwali comment Mère Yashoda avait sélectionné les meilleurs de ses vaches.
And fed them the sweetest, best grass in the whole of Braj.
Elle leur donnait à manger la meilleure herbe de tout Braj.
So when the milk was coming out, it was like absolute sweet, creamy nectar.
Comme ça, quand le lait sortait, c'était vraiment comme le plus.
And with that, she would make the milk sweets.
Et avec ça, elle faisait toutes les préparations sucrées.
This is Govardhana. Provides this wonderful, sweet, soft grass.
Et Govardhana fournit cette herbe merveilleuse, tendre et parfumée.
Kandara refers to the caves where Krishna Balaram and their friends play, sit and lie down.
Kandara se réfère aux cavernes dans lesquelles Krishna, Balaram et leurs amis jouent, s'assoient et s'allongent.
These caves give pleasure when the weather is too hot or too cold, or when it is raining.
Et ces cavernes fournissent toutes sortes de plaisirs lorsqu'il fait trop chaud, ou qu'il fait trop froid, ou lorsqu'il pleut.
Govardhana also features soft roots for eating, jewels for ornamenting the body, flat places for sitting, and lamps and mirrors in the form of smooth stones, glistening water, and other natural substances.
Sur Govardhana, on trouve également des tendres racines à manger, des bijoux pour se décorer, des lieux plats pour s'asseoir, des lampes et des miroirs sous la forme de pierres douces et de l'eau qui scintille ainsi que d'autres substances naturelles.
So these are just some, you could say, verses glorifying Govardhana Hill.
Quelques versets qui glorifient la colline Govardhana.
And today's pastime particularly refers to the Anakut ceremony and the circumambulation of Govardhana.
Mais le divertissement d'aujourd'hui se réfère particulièrement à la cérémonie d'Anakuta et au fait de tourner autour de la colline.
But actually this festival spans over about 11 days.
C'est un festival qui normalement s'étend sur 11 jours.
Today is the Anakut.
Aujourd'hui c'est la Anukut.
Tomorrow Indra gets ready for attack.
Demain, en fait, Indra se prépare pour attaquer.
And then for 7 days the rains are crashing down, the storms.
Ensuite, pendant 7 jours, il y a la tempête et les pluies torrentielles.
And then the next day everything goes back to normal again.
Le jour suivant, tout redevient normal.
And the next day Indra comes too. Vrindavan to
Et le jour
try to get freed from his maha aparad, you could say.
il descend à Vrindavan pour se libérer de sa grande offense.
So in one sense, it's an 11-day festival.
Dans un sens, c'est un festival qui dure 11 jours.
But we generally only celebrate it all on one day.
On célèbre généralement tout ça en une journée.
Anyway, we'll cover what we can. The appearance of Govardhana in this universe.
On va essayer de parler de l'apparition de Govardhana dans cet univers.
This is one of the conditions for Radharani's appearance
C'était
in
une des
this
conditions
pastime.
de l'apparition de Srimati Radharani.
Krishna assured that Govardhana will be there, Yamuna will be there, and so on.
Elle voulait être sûre que la
Don't worry.
Yamuna serait là, Govardhana serait là.
So Govardhana is there are many, you could say, angles of vision, but very famous pastime of Govardhana's appearance in Vrindavan.
Il y a différents points de vue, bien sûr, mais il y a un fameux divertissement de l'apparition de Govardhana à Vrindavan.
At one time, the great Muni named Pulastya Muni, he was traveling around the Himalayas on the western side, and he's a mystic, he could fly in the sky.
Pulatya Muni,
Nice,
c'est un sage qui a des pouvoirs
I always-
mystiques. Voyager un jour à l'ouest, au-dessus des îles.
I always dream of that, fly in the sky and, see all the various scenes and so on.
On rêve de ça parfois, de voler la nuit et de pouvoir survoler.
Even last night I had a dream of flying in the sky.
J'ai rêvé de ça la nuit dernière, que je volais dans le ciel.
So he's flying around and he sees this incredible, beautiful mountain.
Il est en train de voler ce Pulatya Muni et il voit cette incroyable montagne.
So he comes down
Il descend.
to the ground. This mountain, now again, another inconceivable feature, probably not accepted by people in general, is that mountains are alive.
Un autre aspect qui est certainement pas accepté par les gens en général, c'est que les montagnes sont des
They also can give birth.
qui peuvent donner naissance.
So there's one mountain named Dronachal, and he had a son, and his son was actually Govardhana. This is how Govardhana came.
Et donc il y avait cette montagne Dronachal et il a eu un fils qui s'appelait Govardhana.
When the sage came, Dronachal was very happy to see Pulastya Muni.
Et lorsque Dronachal
He wanted to serve him.
Pulatya Muni, il était très heureux.
And he said to Pulastya, "How can I serve you?"
Il a dit au sage, comment je peux te servir?
And Pulastya Muni had, he was living in Kashi, and it's pretty flat if you've ever been to Varanasi or Kashi. It's pretty flat. So he was thinking, wow, how wonderful it would be if I could bring this mountain to Kashi and do my meditation there. Such a beautiful mountain I've never seen.
Et Pulatya Muni, qui vivait à Kashi, qui est un endroit très plat, il a pensé, ça serait tellement merveilleux que je puisse emmener cette montagne là-bas et puis que je puisse m'asseoir pour faire ma méditation.
Please give me your son, Govardhana.
S'il te plaît, donne-moi ton fils, Govardhana.
Of course, this was a devastating blow to Dronachal.
Ce fut un coup dévastateur porté à Dronachal.
Oh no, he started to cry.
Il a commencé à pleurer.
How can he live without his son?
Comment pouvait-il vivre sans son fils?
But what could he do? Govardhana agreed on one condition.
Govardhana était d'accord à une condition.
He said, condition is, okay, I'm agreeable to come with you, but wherever you put me down, I will not move from there.
Je suis d'accord, je viendrai avec toi, mais si tu me poses quelque part, je ne bougerai plus.
So, okay, it was agreed. Pulastya Muni then took Govardhana, who, of course, by his will, allowed himself to be carried by Pulastya Muni on his hand, and Pulastya then took off into the air, carrying Govardhana towards Kashi.
Donc Govardhana, par son propre bon vouloir, s'est laissé porter par Pulatya et qui l'a emmené pour Kashi.
Govardhana had a plan, huh?
Govardhana avait un plan.
His plan was obvious. So he made an arrangement that somehow or another, suddenly, the sage flying through the sky had an absolutely unavoidable call of nature.
Et par l'arrangement de Govardhana, à un moment donné, le sage s'est
What to
retrouvé
do?
avec un besoin naturel
He was-
impossible à ne pas
He
satisfaire.
couldn't. He had to go down to earth to fulfill the urge.
Il fallait qu'il descende absolument pour satisfaire ses besoins.
And Krishna covered him, so he didn't kind of catch on what was happening here.
Krishna a couvert son intelligence.
So he had to place the mountain on the ground
Il a posé donc la colline sur le sol.
to, whatever, fulfill his urge.
Il est allé passer.
And he came back thinking, okay, come on, let's go.
Il est revenu, ok, on y va, on repart.
No, Govardhana wouldn't move an inch.
Mais Govardhana ne
Wouldn't move from the ground.
était sur le sol.
Pulastya became furious. He tried with all of his power, mystic powers, to move, but Govardhana wouldn't move an inch.
Il a essayé de toutes ses forces, mais Govardhana ne bougeait pas d'un pouce.
Because Govardhana was in Brudge. He'd come down in Brudge.
Elle était descendue.
Unmanifested maybe at the time, but that's where he settled.
Peut-être avant, elle était là, non manifestée.
And the sage cursed Govardhana.
Alors le sage a maudit
I
Govardhana.
curse you to shrink.
Je te maudis de t'enfoncer chaque jour
Every day by the size of a mustard seed.
de la taille d'une graine de moutarde.
We're not going to get into measurements here that, it's not possible, but gradually Govardhana appears to external vision to be shrinking.
À notre vision externe, le Govardhana semble s'enfoncer.
So that's how he appeared. And of course, when Krishna appeared in this world along with his associates 5,000 or so years ago, first he sends his devotees, or he makes arrangements before coming.
Quand Krishna apparaît, il y a plus de 5000 ans, et il s'arrange pour que ses dévots descendent avant lui.
So Jamuna, Govardhana, so many associates were already there waiting for his appearance.
Yamuna, Govardhana, tellement de compagnons étaient déjà là.
And on this particular day, of course, when we honor Govardhana Puja, we perform the worship of Govardhana Hill.
Ce jour, on adore la colline Govardhana.
This is where Krishna makes it clear to one and all that Govardhana is indeed the king of all mountains.
C'est le jour où Krishna fait savoir à tout le monde sans aucun doute que Govardhana, c'est
It
le
is
roi.
really Govardhana, one who provides for the cows, for the senses, everything.
Celui qui fournit tous les besoins pour les vaches, pour les
A
sangs,
shelter for everyone.
refuge pour tous.
We have a little time, but we'll cut the story a little short. How after Krishna had, let's say, rewarded the wives of the Brahmanas, the past time there when Krishna and the Kaura boys were hungry and they appealed to the Brahmins for some foodstuffs, but eventually the Brahmins didn't give, but the wives did. So pastime is just finished.
Donc ce divertissement où Krishna était venu mendier aux brahmanas qui avaient refusé de leur donner de la nourriture et où leurs épouses avaient donné et ils avaient été récompensés par Krishna, ce divertissement venait juste de se terminer.
And it was nearby there that Nanda Maharaj and the coward men, residents of Vrindavan, would perform the annual Indra Puja.
Et c'est à cette période que les habitants de Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj et les autres patres accomplissaient le sacrifice à l'adoration.
And it was so happened that that was the time when this puja happened to take place.
C'était juste au moment
Normally.
où le puja allait avoir lieu.
So when Krishna saw that his father and the other coward men were about to prepare a great yajna, he asked, "What is this?"
Quand Krishna a vu que son père et les autres patres allaient faire ce yajna, il a dit qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Krishna was a 7-year-old at that time, 7-year-old.
Krishna à l'époque n'avait que 7 ans.
And his father thought, little boy, how will he understand this? This is a ceremony.
Et son père a pensé, ce petit enfant, qu'est-ce qu'il va comprendre de cette cérémonie?
But Krishna kept pushing him. No, secrets should not be kept amongst family members. Please tell me what is going on here.
Krishna, il a insisté, il ne doit pas y avoir de secret dans la famille, dis-moi ce qui se passe.
So, as is the case in, you could say, all the pastimes really, Krishna had many purposes to fulfill.
Donc, comme dans les divertissements en général, Krishna remplit différents buts.
He was, in one sense, this whole pastime is a manifestation of Krishna's little anger. Is arranged by the Lord, but it appears to be an angry way in sense, because he wasn't happy that, his devotees are performing some worship to some petty demigods.
Donc dans ces divertissements, ça manifeste le mécontentement de Krishna.
Why do you need to do that?
Il ne voulait pas que ses dévots adorent un dévot.
Demigod worship is a very common thing, and if you read the Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna says this, fool persons whose intelligence, who have small knowledge of the truth, may worship the demigods.
C'est l'adoration des dévas, elle est vraiment importante dans la Bhagavad Gita. Krishna en parle, disant que les gens peu intelligents, ils adorent les dévas.
Why are my dearmost devotees, why are they worshipping this Indra?
Alors c'est pourquoi mes chers dévots, ils adorent cet Indra.
Nanda Maharaj explained that we have to show our respect. I mean, he's providing the rain.
Nanda Maharaj dit, on lui a montré notre respect, il nous donne la pluie.
Without the rain, there will be no grain.
Sans pluie, pas de céréales.
There'll be nothing to eat.
Rien à manger.
The cows, the grass won't grow.
Les vaches ne pourraient pas grandir.
We have to show our respects.
On doit montrer
And Krishna started to argue basically more or less atheist philosophy.
Alors Krishna, il a commencé à argumenter avec une philosophie presque.
Karma Mamangsa, it's called. Everything depends on karma.
Tout dépend du karma.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than atheism. It does accept the nature of the living entity, but there's nothing to do with a god who is in control or demigods who are independently acting or anything.
C'est une philosophie où on comprend certaines règles de la nature, mais il n'y a pas question de Dieu ou de Deva qui donne quelque chose.
Karma alone is sufficient. They have to reward us according to our work.
Le karma, ça suffit. On doit être récompensé.
It doesn't depend upon them.
Ça dépend pas des Devas.
If you do good work, they'll give you a good result. Simple as that.
Si vous faites des bonnes actions, ils sont obligés de vous donner des bons
And
résultats.
if you're a naughty boy, you get punished.
Si vous êtes mauvais garçon, vous êtes.
What have they got? What's Indra got to do with it?
Qu'est-ce qu'Indra y a à voir avec ça?
And even if there is some God, so what? He pours the water on the ocean as well as the land.
Et même s'il y a un Dieu comme ça qui verse de l'eau, il verse aussi de l'eau sur l'océan.
No. It's all to do with karma.
Ça a tout à faire avec juste le karma.
No. Now, if you want to perform some kind of sacrifice or some kind of offering, then we have to look really, who is our sustainer?
Mais si tu veux vraiment faire une offrande, on doit vraiment se demander qui nous maintient.
Because of the Brahmins, they're performing yajnas, therefore we get all kinds of good results.
Les brahmanas, parce qu'ils font les yagas, on obtient toutes sortes de bons résultats.
And our wealth, Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya, he was protecting cows, so go Raksha. Huh? He was protecting cows.
Mais lui, Nanda Maharaj était un Vaishya, donc il protégeait les vaches.
So the cows are sustaining us, the Brahmins are causing good reactions.
Les vaches nous maintiennent et c'est grâce aux brahmanas qu'on a.
And Govardhana is providing everything we need.
Et la colline Govardhana nous fournit tous nos besoins.
We should worship Govardhana.
C'est elle qu'on devrait adorer.
And the Brahmins and cows.
Ainsi que les brahmanas et les vaches.
Krishna, of course, in one sense, you could say, bewildered everyone, but he convinced them all, okay, we'll perform a, if you so desire, we'll do a worship of Govardhana. But first, let us do this Indra puja.
Krishna a fini par leur prendre la tête et convaincre, et donc ils ont dit, d'accord, on va faire ce Govardhana puja, mais d'abord on va adorer Indra.
Krishna used a few more arguments.
Krishna a utilisé un peu plus d'arguments.
That there's no need of these demigods. Everything depends upon your nature.
Il n'y a pas besoin des devas.
The modes of the material world are really in control and they're responding to your activities.
C'est les trois gunas qui répondent selon.
Even the Supreme Lord is a dependent aspect of karma. He just, as they surrender unto me, I reward them, so to speak.
Le Seigneur suprême dépend même du karma et dit récompense selon ce qu'on fait.
He's under the control of karma.
Il est en fait sous le contrôle du karma.
And thus, one's occupational duties This is one's worshipable deity.
Et en fait, c'est ce qu'on devrait adorer, c'est nos devoirs.
There's a famous movement, and they say, work is God.
Il y a un mouvement connu qui dit le travail, c'est Dieu.
They don't believe in a personal God. Your work, your performance, that's what counts. Everything depends on that.
Ils disent que tout ce qui compte, il n'y a pas de Dieu, tout ce qui compte, c'est votre activité, votre
And the
travail.
modes of nature just reciprocate with that.
Et que les gunas, ils
Do good
réciproquent
work.
avec ça.
That was Krishna's argument. It came from him.
C'était un argument qui est
Karma, Mimamsa. So they eventually, Krishna then said, but we haven't got time, Father, we haven't got time to prepare the necessary paraphernalia for worshipping Govardhana. It's a huge event.
Krishna a dit, mais on n'a pas le temps de rassembler tout ce qu'il faut pour adorer la.
We have to use all this paraphernalia that you have arranged here for Indra.
Tu dois utiliser tout ce que tu as préparé là pour Indra.
He was very convincing.
Très convaincant.
Krishna's, no one can convince anyone like Krishna. So eventually they were convinced.
Donc ils ont été convaincus.
All right, tell us, what do we do?
Alors que devons-nous faire?
So we took all this paraphernalia, and then the Brahmins, bring the Brahmins. They started to perform sacrifices, worship of the cows, worship of the Govardhana hill, everything began.
Alors ils ont commencé à utiliser tout ce qu'il y avait là pour adorer, les brahmanas ont commencé les yagas, pour
Everyone.
adorer les vaches, la colline.
Dressed in their best, all decorated the cows beautifully with silk and silver and gold. Everything was beautifully decorated.
Tout le monde avait porté ses meilleurs vêtements et les vaches étaient décorées.
Yajnas were performed. Then Krishna said we have to offer huge amounts of foodstuffs to Govardhana. Huge amounts.
Il faut offrir des quantités énormes de nourriture à Govardhana.
So mountains of food came from all directions.
De toutes directions.
It wasn't just a few little pots. There were lakes of dal, lakes of sweet rice, lakes.
Il y avait des lacs de dalles.
Mountains appeared around Govardhana, stacks of rice like mountains.
Il y avait des montagnes de riz,
Huge vessels full up with all kinds of subjis,
des pots gigantesques remplis de sorbus.
sweets and savories everywhere.
Il y avait des-
The whole area was just covered in foodstuffs to offer to Govardhana.
toute la région était couverte de
Incredible. Stacks of, you could hardly see the top of the chapati stacks, etc.
difficile de voir
rotis.
des montagnes de chapati.
Unlimited preparations were prepared, and they were bringing from all around. Where from? Nobody knew. They were just coming. Unlimited preparations were coming.
Et des préparations illimitées, des quantités illimitées venaient de tout.
And all the British bastards are all there in front of Govardhana offering this foodstuffs.
Tous les Brujvasi se tenaient devant Govardhana.
All of a sudden, Govardhana Hill suddenly manifested a huge form of Giriraj.
Et d'un seul coup, la colline Govardhana a
Supreme
manifesté
Personality of God, it manifests on top of the hill,
Dieu, la personne suprême, s'est manifesté en haut,
huge form,
une forme gigantesque.
and just whipping up all of prasad, like devotees sometimes, just stuffing it into his mouth like this.
Commencé à
Bring me more,
engouffrer la nourriture,
any more. Bring me more.
apportez-moi
The
plus.
village there now is known as Anior.
Un village là-bas.
That place where the Anakut, it's called Anakut, where they offer the rice Anakut, the offering is there at the foot of the hill.
Donc ils offrent au pied de cette colline.
Mountains of rice Anakut. And Giriraj is just eating it. Everyone, even Krishna is bowed down to his own form on top of the hill.
Ses hommages à sa
And bowing down, realizing that this is actually, that Govardhana is himself the Supreme Lord.
en disant qu'il est Dieu lui-même de ce Giriraj.
And he's just eating everything. Now they're bringing more, bring me more. They're bringing more and more and more, but still, he was just consuming everything.
Ils amenaient plus et plus, mais ils consommaient tout.
And sometimes don't sometimes here, it's stated in the Shastras that every offering has to be accompanied with a tulsi leaf.
On dit toujours que toute offrande doit être accomplie avec une feuille de tulasi.
So eventually it seemed like there was no way they could fulfill or satisfy his appetite.
Mais il semblait qu'il ne pouvait pas satisfaire son appétit.
And then Balaram, of course, comes along and he brings along a tulsi leaf and offers that.
Et Balaram vient, il offre une feuille de tulasi.
And Giriraj is satisfied.
Et alors Giriraj est satisfait.
In the unmanifested that form.
Et il disparaît.
And then Krishna said, now we have to feed all the cows and all the Brahmins, and everybody has to be fed.
Maintenant, Krishna dit, on doit nourrir les brahmines, les vaches, tout le monde.
The dogs, the cats, everyone has to be
Les
fed.
chiens, les chats, tout le monde.
Unlimited prashadam. Govardhan puja means unlimited prashadam.
Govardhana puja veut dire les quantités illimitées de prasad.
It's a festival. If you've ever been in Vrindavan now, they've kind of modified it now. It's a little bit more civilized, but Dinabandhu Prabhu has been calmed down a little bit.
Donc, c'est pour ceux qui étaient à Vrindavan, maintenant ils se sont un peu calmés, c'est plus civilisé.
But in the old days, it was really a festival and a half.
C'était vraiment un festival.
It's a festival now, but it was a festival and a half before.
Festival and a half.
Yeah, more than a festival. It went overboard.
C'était plus un festival à l'époque.
And then, you know, after circumambulating Govardhana Hill,
Après avoir tourné autour de la côte
then
de Govardhana,
it would be like a rugby scrum, if you know what that is.
c'était comme une mêlée de rugby.
Everyone just pull onto Govardhan, and there'd be prashadam going in every direction. Boom, you know.
Prasad volait dans toutes les
Or even on the floor, you'd be slipping over, you know, halava and things. It was wild. It was completely wild. It was really controlled now. I mean, more civilized.
Maintenant, c'est plus civilisé.
One can appreciate that. But anyway, after this great Hanukut ceremony, and everyone's been fed prashadam, then it's time for parikrama around the hill.
Mais après, donc, cette cérémonie d'Anakuta, tout le
So
monde
then they all go on the
de
parikrama.
tourner autour de
Everybody, calves, cows in front, and then bullock carts with the ladies and so on, and they're all dancing and singing around Govardhan Hill. So let's dance and sing around Govardhan.
Les veaux
Here we go.
passent devant, les chars à bœufs avec toutes les femmes et tout le monde chante.
They have a great festival. So we're going to sing this famous song from Gopal Champu by Jiva Goswami.
Jiva Goswami.
I like to have someone press buttons if we can during this, otherwise you have to, like last time, stop playing now. Have you got the chance? You can press the button at the right time. Move that in case we knock it over. Yes, Gopal Champu deals with a lot of this, let's say, details of this pastime.
Dans le Gopal Champu, il y a beaucoup de détails sur ce divertissement.
Giri Pujayam. Play harmonium if you can. Madonga if you can. I don't know if it's 3-beat, 2-beat or something in between, but do your best. And let's see. How should we do it? You sing Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena. It's a little difficult otherwise. I'll sing the answer. It means literally, who performed the worship of Govardhan Hill?
Ça signifie qui a accompli, cette ligne signifie qui a accompli l'adoration de Govardhan.
You're going to sing this. I'll sing it with you. Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena, Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena, Arachi Sakrapadama Bayam Yena. You can sing it too. Giri Pujayam, Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena, Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena. No, I'll have to do it until you get the idea. Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena, Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena, Arachi Sakrapadam Apayam Yena, Arachi Sakrapadam Apayam Yena. Nope, back. Who performed the worship of Govardhan Hill? He who fiercely usurped Indra's position. Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena, Giri Pujayam Vihita Kena, Putanikasa Nihatayena, Putanikasa Nihatayena, who performed the worship of Govardhan Hill. He who killed Putana, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Inavatatanu Dalanam Yena, Yanavatatanu Dalam. He performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who crushed the Trinavata demon, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Jamalajuna Tara Mudakaliyena, Jamalajuna Tara Mudakaliyena, who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who uprooted the Yamarjuna trees, Pujayam Hitakena, Giri Pujayam Hitakena, Vatsabakasura Hananayena, Dasakasura Hananayena, who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who destroyed Vatsasura and Bakasura, Giri Pujayam Hitakena, Umagasura Maramayena. Oh, missed. Vyomagasura Maranam Yena, Vyomagasura Maranam Yena, who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who brought death to Vyomasura and Agasura, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Kaliya Dhammanam Kalitam Yena, Kaliya Dhammanam Kalitam Yena, who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who chastised the Kaliya serpent, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Giri Pujayam Karapalambaka Samanam Yena, Karapalambaka Samanam Yena, who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who suppressed the wicked Palamba, Giri Pujayam, Giri Pujayam, Dava Yogmam Paripitam Yena, Dava Yogmam Paripitam Yena, who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who swallowed the two forest fires, Giri Pujayam, Trasati Kamsa Satatam Yena, Trasati Kamsa Satatam Yena, who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. Who performed the worship of Govardhan hill. He who Kamsa always fears. Oh, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena, Pujayam, Giri Pujayam Vihitakena. Forward. Giri Pujayam Vihitakena. Forward. Giri Pujayam Vihitakena. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. You see some, what are called? Nilagai.
Ici, on voit des nilagai.
You've seen them? Have you all seen nilagai, or those who've been to Govardhana? Have you ever seen them? They're not so common now. They're very rare.
Ils sont très rares.
Used to see them quite a lot in years gone by. When it was all forest and jungles, they were very regularly seen. But very, very rare nowadays. They're like, what would you say? They're half horse, half cow.
Avant, elles étaient beaucoup plus nombreuses à Govardhana. Maintenant, on en voit
Nilagai.
beaucoup
They're
moins.
kind of a grey-blue color.
C'est un mélange entre un cheval et une vache.
Blue cows is a literal
Ils appellent les vaches
translation.
bleues.
They're not really blue, but they're bluish. They're kind of a grey-blue, you know. And there used to be loads of them around Govardhana Hill. They're not famous everywhere in India, but they're around that area.
Pas beaucoup en Inde, mais il y en avait beaucoup dans cette
Well, I don't know. Time is going on. We just quickly finish off the pastime. We can never finish it, but we'll quickly summarize the last part.
On va résumer rapidement la dernière partie du divertissement.
So Indra was, when he got to hear about this, Narada Muni is an expert. You don't need WhatsApp and social media. Narada Muni is much more expert than any of them.
Donc Narada Muni est venu prévenir Indra beaucoup.
So realizing that his puja had been stopped,
Quand Indra a réalisé que son adoration
Indra became enraged. Who does this puffed up cowboy think he is?
qui est ce petit pâtre orgueilleux?
And these stupid residents of Vrindavan, brainless, listening to a puffed up boy. Don't they know who I am?
Et ces stupides habitants de Vrindavan qui écoutent ce petit garçon et
They have to be taught a lesson for once and for all.
on va devoir leur donner une leçon.
Sambandaka, come here immediately.
Viens Samvartaka.
Bring all your other clouds with you, quickly.
Amène avec toi
All the wind gods, come here, Vayu, and bring all your wind gods with you.
et amène tous les dieux du vent là, rapidement, Vayu, tous les autres.
We have a very important business to do.
Il y a vraiment quelque chose d'important à faire.
The Hare Krishnas are not worshipping us.
Les Hare Krishna ne les adorent pas.
They have to be punished.
Il faut les punir.
Punish them.
Punissez-les.
We are going to go to Vrindavan, and we're going to devastate Vrindavan.
À descendre à Vrindavan,
Come.
tout dévasté.
Ooh, some of the gods, the wind gods, and Sambataka was a little bit scared. They were, something's not right here. Krishna's not just a puffed up boy. Be careful.
L'un des demi-dieux là, du vent, des Samvartaka ont commencé un peu.
Risky.
C'est risqué.
Don't worry, I will be with you.
Ne vous inquiétez pas,
Let us go.
on y va.
So off they went to
Ils sont
Vrindavan.
partis.
The clouds of devastation, I mean, black as ink, full of billions of tons of powerful rain and thunderbolts, Indra's thunderbolts, hailstones, lightning, heading off like an army, universal army going towards Vrindavan.
Comme une armée universelle, ces nuages noirs comme de l'encre sont descendus.
Winds coming from the north, icy cold winds started to blow around Vraj.
Des vents glacés venant du nord ont commencé à souffler sur Vrindavan.
Everyone was taking shelter behind ridges and trees. And the winds were going woo, like this. They were finding their way round all the corners to disharness everything that existed.
Et même si tout le monde essayait de se protéger derrière des
The
arbres,
whole sky became black.
tout est devenu
The
noir.
sun was completely, no sunlight at all practically.
Il n'y a pratiquement plus de soleil.
The rain started coming down like never heard of.
La pluie,
Columns of rain crashing down.
des tonnes de pluie.
Thunderbolts crashing, smashing, and crashing to the ground.
La foudre s'écrase.
Lightning everywhere. Hail, wind, rain, devastating.
La grêle, la pluie.
Of course, Krishna's Yoga Maya was protecting all the devotees, but all around this was going on.
Bien sûr, la yoga
What are we going to do? They're all trying to take shelter from this rain and storms and hail and wind.
protégé de cette grêle, cette
And
tempête.
Krishna, save us!
Krishna, sauve-nous.
It was his fault, you could say, in the first place. They're all crying to Krishna, save us!
Krishna, sauve-nous.
Krishna, of course, knew everything. Now Indra's wonderful pastime about to unfold. Huh?
Krishna savait et ce
Oh,
divertissement extraordinaire allait se
Many reasons, as we mentioned earlier. Not just to cut down Indra's pride.
C'était pas simplement pour rabaisser l'orgueil d'Indra.
Not just to teach that demigod worship is not going to satisfy, it's not our business.
Aussi pour enseigner qu'on n'a pas besoin d'adorer les dévas.
But to fulfill the desires of the residents of Raj,
Et c'était surtout pour satisfaire les habitants de Vraj,
and to show how we can get true protection,
de leur montrer comment ils peuvent obtenir une veille
to fulfill Govardhan's desire,
et satisfaire les désirs de Govardhana.
to perform this magnificent pastime which is celebrated today all over in so many places.
Et accomplir son divertissement tellement miséricordieux qui est maintenant célébré en
In our heart there's a mountain of sin. It's described in Bhagavatam. It's like a mountain of sin in our hearts.
Le Bhagavatam décrit que dans notre cœur il y a comme une montagne de péché.
And by honoring this Govardhan Puja festival, that mountain can be smashed.
Cette colline Govardhana aujourd'hui, cette montagne peut être
We take shelter of the mountain of Govardhan and the mountain of sin can be removed.
Si on prend refuge de la colline de Govardhana, cette montagne de péché peut être.
It's said that there are many snakes on Govardhan Hill,
Il y a de nombreux serpents sur la colline.
and those who don't perform this Govardhan Puja or honor it when it's there will get bitten by the snakes on Govardhan Hill.
Et ceux qui n'adorent pas ce jour de Govardhana Puja seront
Maybe
mordus
they're
par ces serpents.
maybe a transcendental bite. I don't know.
Peut-être c'est des.
Have you ever seen snakes on Govardhan? In the old days, I remember one time, when I say old days, maybe 30 years ago, when it was all jungle. I remember you could see snakes when you do Parikrama.
Il y a 30 ans, on voyait des serpents.
And I remember seeing one snake. I've never seen a snake like it, multicolored snake. I've never seen in my life.
Je n'avais jamais vu ça, un
Big
serpent
fat snake.
multicolore,
Right on the path in front of us.
sur le chemin en face de nous.
Anyway, so many things you don't see now with our mundane eyes, but they are there. So the residents then were what to do. Krishna then, by his Yoga Maya potency, protected all the devotees and said, come with me.
Krishna, par sa Yoga Maya, protégé.
And they all headed off to Govardhan.
Et ils se sont tous dirigés vers Govardhana.
And Govardhan Hill been waiting for this opportunity to serve Krishna in this way.
Colline Govardhana attendait de pouvoir servir Krishna de cette façon.
If we go back to Ram Lila, many millions of years before, Govardhan was there already.
Déjà, du temps de Ramachandra, il y a des millions d'années, la colline Govardhana était là.
And when Hanuman came to take mountains to build bridges across to Lanka, he was about to pick up Govardhan. Just at that moment, he was about to pick up Govardhan to take Govardhan to Lanka.
Et quand Hanuman ramassait toutes ces pierres, il était prêt de ramasser la colline Govardhana.
And the voice came from the sky, "The bridge is completed! No more mountains are required."
Et à ce moment-là, il y a une voix du ciel qui
Boum.
dit, le pont, il est fini, il n'y a plus besoin de
Govardhan
pierres.
began to cry.
Alors Govardhana a commencé à pleurer.
Oh no, my Lord, I was able to serve and now I can't.
Il dit,
Mais then
maintenant, je peux plus.
The Lord spoke unseen. Don't worry, in my next appearance, you will be able to serve me to your heart's content.
Alors le Seigneur a dit dans cette voix, ne t'inquiète pas, dans ma prochaine apparition.
So Govardhan very happily, Krishna said he just floated on his finger.
Et donc il a flotté avec
It wasn't like,
Krishna.
you know, we can, if we have 100 kilos, we would be crushed to the ground. I mean,
100 kilos.
trillions and billions of tons by mundane measure. Just floating on Krishna's little finger or palm or whatever. Just floating.
Cette colline flottait sur
Happily floating and providing all facilities for everyone. And outside, rain, the storm is carrying on for 7 days without stopping, day and night.
Et la tempête à l'extérieur a continué pendant 7 jours et 7 nuits non-stop.
And Krishna expanded again, sometimes said Sudarshan, sometimes his own personal direct expansion, drying up all the water around Govardhan.
Et Krishna a manifesté
Nothing.
l'expansion, il y en a qui disent le Sudarshan Chakra.
Not a drop of water came under the hill.
Autour de Govardhana, il n'y a pas
Not a
eu de
drop.
d'eau qui est rentrée.
And even all the pigs, hogs, yeah, there are hogs. Hogs and all the other creatures, deers and everything, they were happily on Govardhan Hill above the clouds. They were totally unaffected. Govardhan rose above and they're all completely happy up.
Ils étaient au-dessus de Govardhana, ils étaient très heureux.
Everyone was having a festival,
Pour tous, c'était un festival.
except for Indra. He was having,
Sauf pour Indra.
he thought he was going to have a festival, but he was quite the opposite. He was having like total frustration.
Il était complètement frustré.
He called the gods of the rain, "What's going on down there? Is it finished? Are they all drowned?" I think so. We can't see them anymore.
Il a rappelé
Double check.
tous ces,
Oh,
tous
no.
ces vents, ces pluies.
It looks like they're
Ils sont
not.
tous morts.
Looks like they're all protected down there.
Allez voir. Ah bah non, mais on dirait qu'ils sont tous...
Winds, what's happening? Hailstones, lightning,
Oh ma foudre, oh...
thunderbolts.
Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe?
No, we failed,
On a échoué.
completely failed.
Complètement échoué.
Nothing. Our efforts have been all to no avail.
On n'a rien pu
We've
faire.
completely failed, and we're completely exhausted.
Et on est épuisé.
And he withdrew all of his clouds and storms. Everything was
Alors,
withdrawn.
il a rappelé tous ces vents, toutes ces tempêtes.
Everything went calm and quiet.
Tout est devenu de nouveau calme.
And then Krishna said, okay, they checked it out. Everyone can now go back, and life went back to normal.
Krishna, il a vérifié, il a dit c'est bon, maintenant vous pouvez tous ressortir et la vie est redevenue
Krishna
normale.
placed the hill back down on its normal ground,
Krishna a reposé Govardhana sur le
and
sol.
everyone was in ecstasy, singing the glories of Krishna.
Tout le monde était en extase, chantant les gloires de Krishna.
But meanwhile, in the heavens, Indra was completely morose.
Pendant que dans les cieux, Indra était morose.
He didn't know what to do.
Il ne savait plus quoi faire.
It dawned on him what a big mistake he'd made.
Il a réalisé l'erreur qu'il avait faite.
What an offense.
Quelle offense.
His guru Brihaspati came
Son guru Brihaspati est venu.
and he asked for advice.
Il lui a demandé conseil.
Said, well, I can't really do much for you, but maybe you can go to Lord Brahma. He also did something a bit, offensive towards Krishna's pastimes. Maybe he can give you some advice. I can't help
Je ne
you.
peux pas faire grand-chose pour toi, mais
You've offended the devotees.
tu peux aller voir Brahma parce qu'il a fait
He also offended them. Maybe he can help you.
il a fait quelque chose comme ça, il a offensé les dévots comme il a fait, et peut-être il peut t'aider, il peut faire quelque chose.
Indra, completely morose, went off to see Lord Brahma.
Complètement morose, Indra allait voir Brahma.
Please help me.
S'il te plaît, aide-moi.
Brahma shook his head.
Brahma, il a
I don't know what to say.
bougé de sa tête, ses têtes.
Said, I may have stolen a few cows and cowboys,
Moi, j'ai peut-être volé quelques veaux, quelques
and
vaches.
certainly I performed a mahaparad of interfering with the pastimes.
Moi, j'ai certainement
But you tried to kill them all.
Et toi, tu essaies de tous les tuer.
I think it's not the same.
Je pense que c'est pas la même chose.
You tried to smash the whole of Vrindavan and kill them all.
Tu as essayé de détruire tout Vrindavan, de tout.
There's nothing I can do.
Rien que je peux faire pour toi.
The only thing I can suggest
La seule chose que je peux suggérer,
is that the cows are the most dear to Krishna.
c'est que les vaches sont les plus chères à Krishna.
You go to see Surabhi.
Tu vas voir Sulabi,
She may help you.
elle peut t'aider.
So Indra went to see the planet Surabhi.
Alors Indra, il allait voir sur la planète des Surabhi.
He explained what had happened to Surabhi.
Il a dit à Sulabi ce qui s'était
Well,
passé.
Surabhi was very upset.
Sulabi, elle était vraiment très
Very, very upset. Because Indra had threatened her cows.
parce que Indra avait mis en danger ses vaches.
But she agreed to go, request of Lord Brahma.
Et elle fut d'accord l'ordre de Brahma.
It was also an opportunity for her to get Krishna's direct association.
C'était une opportunité pour avoir la...
So together with Indra, they proceeded to Vraj.
Alors elle est descendue avec Indra à Vraj.
And of course, there Krishna gave them the opportunity at what is now same area, not exactly the same place, but Govinda Kund.
Et donc il y a eu Krishna a donné cette possibilité à Indra de se faire pardonner au Govinda Kund.
And at that place, Indra fell at Krishna's lotus feet and begged forgiveness.
Indra est tombé aux pieds de Krishna et a demandé pardon.
And by the grace of Surabhi, Krishna forgave him,
Par la grâce de Sulabi, Krishna lui a pardonné.
and a great puja was performed there
Il y a eu un grand puja ensuite.
at what is now Govinda Kund, Govinda Kund rather.
Govinda.
And that beautiful Kund formed by the Abhishek of Krishna, now known as Krishna was installed as Govinda, the Lord of
Ce lac,
the cows,
par l'Abhishek offert à Krishna, et Krishna a été appelé à ce moment-là
Master
Govinda,
of-
Seigneur des vaches,
the master of everything basically.
le maître de tout.
And Surabhi performed with her milk. She also performed in Sarabi Kund. All the various kunds around Vrindavan were formed at that time, not Radha Kund and Shama Kund, but all the other kunds, practically almost all the almost all the kunds were created at that time. Different kunds around. Apsara Kund, Naval Kund, and so many kunds were there. And the water, which was different demigods were bathing Krishna, forming arti. Great festivals held. So today that festival is being honored all over ISKCON, all over the Vaishnav world, the Gaudiya Vaishnav world, particularly not just the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, all Vaishnavas practically.
Et donc ce festival est honoré aujourd'hui par tous les Vaishnavas.
Maybe some differences are there, but basically the same festivals going on.
Alors, différentes sortes de Vaishnavas, peut-être un peu différemment.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Shri Giri Govardhan ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Govardhana puja ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Haribol, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna. Haribol.